Hey guys, welcome to the video Spring Boot and Log4j2 with me Nam Haming from CodeJava.net. Through this video, I will help you understand the logging architecture used by Spring Boot, why we need to use Log4j2, and how to configure a Spring Boot project to use Log4j2, how to configure Log4j2 to write log messages to console and file, and how to write Java code for logging using simple logging facade for Java SLF4J API with Log4j2 implementation. So why using Log4j2? You know, Log4j2 provides significant improvements over Log4j1, and it also fixes some problems in Logback. And the best thing about Log4j2 is its improved performance, because Log4j2 is using the next generation asynchronous loggers. And in summary, Log4j2 is faster and better than Log4j1 and Logback. And this chart proves the improved performance of Log4j2 over Log4j1 and Logback. You see, this chart is for the result of testing asynchronous logging throughput. You can see the result of Log4j2 is much higher than the result of Log4j1 and Logback. You can see here. And this is for asynchronous logging response time. You see, the response time of Logback and Log4j1 is much higher than the response time of Log4j2. That means response time of Log4j2 is much faster than Logback and Log4j1. And this picture helps you understand the logging architecture used by Spring Boot. You see, for internal logging, Spring Boot uses Commons logging, Apache Commons logging, or the Spring JCL. And for the public APIs, it uses simple logging facade for Java SLF4J. So a Spring Boot application can work with various logging frameworks like Java UT logging, Log4j2, or Logback via the SLF4J API. And in the Spring Boot, Logback is the default logging implementation. And in this tutorial, I will show you how to use Log4j2 in a Spring Boot project. So far you have understood the logging architecture used by Spring Boot project and the reason why we need to use Log4j2. And next, I will show you how to configure a Spring Boot project to use Log4j2. This is Spring Tools with IDE, and I have a Spring Boot project here, you can see. And this is the Maven form.xml file. You can see in this project I'm using Spring Boot Starter Web, Spring Boot Starter Timeleaf, Spring Boot Starter Data JPA, and by default Spring Boot uses Logback as a default logging implementation, as you can see in the Maven dependencies node here. Some jar files for Logback here, Log4j, Java UT logging. Let me start this Spring Boot application so you can see the logging messages. You see in the console view here, you can see this is logging messages by default. Spring Boot is using Logback, you can see. Now, to use Log4j2 in a Spring Boot project, we need to exclude the default Spring Boot starter logging. So in the Maven's dependency file here, declare dependency for Spring Framework, copy this, and we change the artifact ID to Spring Boot starter, and then we exclude exclusion. We exclude the group ID is the same as here, and we exclude the artifact ID is the string dash boot dash starter dash login. Save the change, and you see when we remove the Spring Boot starter login, you can see the jar files for Logback were removed. And to use Log4j2, we need to declare another dependency for Spring Boot starter Log4j2 dependency. Group ID is org.spring framework .boot, and artifact ID is spring dash boot dash starter dash log4j2. So to use log4j2 in a Spring Boot project, we need to use this dependency spring dash boot dash starter dash log4j2. Okay, save the changes, and you will see Maven we automatically download the required jar files for Log4j2. As you can see here, we have some jar files for Log4j2 here. Log4j API version 2.12.1 here, and immediately you can see in the console view we got an error here. No, don't worry. Let's stop our application and start again. And you see, Spring Boot still displays the login in Logback. And next we need to configure Log4j2 to write log message to console and to a file. So we create the Log4j2 configuration file here under this directory, resources directory. We create a new XML file. XML, and name the file as log4j2. Finish, and here we specify a very simple configuration for Log4j2 configuration. Appenders, and we specify a console appender. Console name is console, and target is system out. So this log appender, we print the log messages to the system standard output. Then we specify a log pattern layout. And here we specify the pattern. Pattern is %d. We will use this pattern. You see, %d to display the date and time, %t to display the thread name, %level to display the log level, %c to display the logger name, %msg to display the log message, and %n to include a line separator, %t percent level for the log level, and %c for the logger name, and %msg for the log messages, and %n for the line separator. Okay, save the changes. We got an error here. I think we need to start and stop the project. It's better to clean the project and start again. Clear the output in the console view and start again. And after the appender, we need to specify a logger or loggers, and we specify the root logger. And here we specify a reference to appender ref equal console, and we specify the log level for the root logger is info, so only logging message with log level info warning or error will be displayed. Okay, save the changes and wait for Spring Boot application to restart, and you can see in the console view now we have the log message printed with Log4j2, and you can see we use the butter, date and time, thread name, log level, logger name, and log message. So this is a very simple configuration file to use Log4j2 in a Spring Boot project. You can update the butter. For example, wrap the thread name inside brackets. Okay, save the change, and it will automatically update. You can see here the thread name is now wrapped in brackets, and we specify a dash to separate between the logger name and the log messages, and save the change. You can see with Log4j it will reload the configuration file automatically, and you can see we have the dash separator between logger name and log message. And to make the log messages more readable, we can use format specifiers here. For the date and time, we can use the custom date and time format. Use left justification flag for the log level, and use spaces for right padding if the characters for example for logger name less than 50 characters, then it will be padded using spaces. And to shorten the logger name, we can use this format specifier to abbreviate the logger name. Now let's update the log pattern using those format specifier. Here for the date and time, we use this format for number of year to number month, day, hour, minute, and second. And you can see the date and time updated for the new format. And we use this minus format specifier to justify the log level, and if the log level name is less than 5 characters, then it will be embedded with spaces to the right. Save the changes, and you can see the column for log level is now embedded with spaces to the right, and we want to shorten the logger name, so we use this format specifier to shorten the logger name. The logger name is %c here, 1 point. Okay, you can see the logger name is now shortened. The leftmost package name abbreviated, and only the class name to the rightmost is kept. You see, that makes the log message more readable, and we can left justify and right padding the logger name using this format specifier minus 50 here. Minus 50 is the minimum characters. If the logger name less than 50 characters, the name will be padded using spaces. Now you can see the log message in the console looks better, right? With space padded to the right of the logger name. You see. So that's basically how to use log pattern and format specifiers with Log4j2. For details, you can refer to the Log4j2 manual for pattern layout in this URL. Next, I am going to show you how to configure Log4j2 to write log messages to a log file. So we need to specify the second appender for writing a log message to a file. So we use a file appender. Name is file, and we specify the file name. Log file name is submit.log, and we specify the pattern layout for the log messages in the file. We can copy the pattern layout from the console appender. Okay, we can delete this format specifier to use the default date and time format. And in the root logger here, we specify a reference to the file appender reference to file. That's it. Very simple. And let's open the project directory here. The project directory submit backend here. And now let's save the changes, and the application we restart. And look at the project directory. You can see a log file submit.log got created here, and open it with the text editor like Notepad++, and you can see the content of the log file here. You can see the datetime format is default. It is different than the datetime format specified in the console output here. You see. So that's very simple to write log messages to a file with Log4j2. Next, I will show you how to write Java code for logging messages using SLF4J API with Log4j2 implementation in our project here. Let's open the Java class. I want to log error, so I open this error controller class. And because Log4j2 supports SLF4J API, so it's better to use SLF4J API. So our project will be independent from logging frameworks. So in the top of the class here, we declare a logger, private static final logger, and we should use the logger interface from the package org.slf4j here. We don't use the logger from this package, so our code will be independent from a logging framework. Logger equal logger factory. Logger factory also we import from the package org.slf4j. Get logger, and we can pass a logger name, a class name, or a string for the logger. Here I use the class name as the logger name. That's it. To create an instance of the logger, it should be static and final. So it will be shared across the instances of the class. So I will write log messages. For example, if an error occurs, error 404 here, I will log an error, logger error 404. And similarly, if an error HTTP 500, I log an error 500. And similarly, if the error is 403, logger error 403. We can also write log message with different log level. For example, in the beginning of the method, I use the lowest log level is chase here, entering the method handle error. That's it. And we can also write a log message with the info log level information. For example, handling HTTP error, for example. Okay, save the changes. And now let's start test our application in Chrome browser. This is Chrome browser, and now I access this Spring Boot application on localhost. Context path is submit admin, and you see in the console here. And now let's type URL which doesn't exist, like this. Sorry, I need to log in. Okay, I am in, and now I type URL which doesn't exist, and we watch the error message. The best you have requested could not be found, and in the console view you can see it is printed the log message here. You can see with the log level is error here. You can see log level info handling HTTP error 404, handling HTTP error 404. That's exactly what we wrote in the Java code here, handling HTTP error 404. We don't see the chase log message because the log level is info. The log level is info here. And let's open the log file. The log file here. Close and open again. You can see the log file was updated here. Awesome! So far you have learned how to use Log4j2 in a Spring Boot project. You understood the Spring Boot logging architecture, why we need to use Log4j2, how to configure a Spring Boot to use Log4j2, and how to configure control appender and file appender, and how to write Java code for logging messages using symbol logging SLF4J API with Log4j2 implementation. I hope you will find this video helpful. Please subscribe, like, comment, and share. Thank you.